Hello, my eighth graders. Hey, this video is going to be essentially just a little bit of a helper on this quiz that we had on Friday over sports and 9/11. And one article was about just like the general political outcomes and lasting effects from 9/11. So let's get into it. I am going to share my screen. Here we go. All right, so this is what you would see if you're just clicking on the announcement feed. And it's probably not going to look like your announcement feed because I know like all of the old announcement feeds go to the top. So my advice to you would be to just check your email so you can find the most recent one. And this one was a post that I posted at 3:35. So let me click on that one. You'll see what I'm looking at. Hopefully you get a laugh out of the meme that I posted. I love that meme. Yeah. So if you need the quiz code to get in, a few of you didn't take it. You had your iPads taken from you so they could charge to get ready for NWEA. I am just grading them. I'm not updating scores on Skyward because of that particular issue. So if you do want to take this quiz again, especially after watching this video where I'm going to go through how you find the answers, let's do it. But let's just take a couple seconds to laugh at this meme, because this is the face that I make when people email me about wanting quiz codes, because I'm just like, I've made it already. All right, so there's the quiz code to get in. Remember 9/11. Let's get into it. I've already downloaded the article. Articles. Article 1, short and sweet. Article 2, how sports helped America heal after 9/11. And Article 3, the World Politics Explainer, the 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers. Because, yeah, this was an attack on the United States soil, but it had a lot of ramifications outside the United States as well. So let's get into it. All right, so here is what you would be looking at, something similar. Let me preview this. Like any other test, if there is a quiz or something that you've got for me, what I would do is look at the questions first before you start digging into the reading. So this question here, which of the following articles would you want to use if you wanted to know more about the history of the Taliban? Which of the following articles is more than likely just one part of a series of articles about the impact the September 11th attacks had on various parts of society? And then a question about Article 1, which of the following lines or quotes from Article 2 help support the main idea of this article? And then finally, complete the statement summarizing the effects of the US-led invasion of Iraq from Article 3, and then the short answer, which effects from 9/11 are most visible in the world today? So let's just get into it. So I've already read these articles to you. As you can see, when I click on this link, let me read to you, it will pop open a link to a YouTube video where I am going to be reading to you. This is the thing that you watched in class. If you were in class on Monday,
what day it was yesterday.
Oh, yes, easy. There can only be so many people talking. All right, so let's get into it. Which of the following articles would you want to use if you wanted to know more about the history of the Taliban? The answer to this question really isn't anything, because this one is about the 9/11 attacks, what happened, immediate impact, the war afterwards, the various ways that our democracy has been checked since the 9/11 attacks. This one's just loaded with like civic stuff. Um, Increasing Islamophobia following the attacks or following attacks, other terrorist attacks in the past. This article and this question was designed specifically to get you to bite on that particular article, because this one is just about the 9/11 attacks, and the question is asking you about the history of 9/11, or excuse me, the history of the Taliban. That's not. The best source for that would probably be the video that we watched in class about the Taliban. And then if you look at the other two articles, this one, just by looking at the title, you can see how like this article is about how sports helped America heal after 9/11. And this one is just titled Sports. So this question here, it's none of them, none of them. Okay, which of the following articles is more than likely just one part of a series of articles about the impact the September 11th attacks had on various parts of society? And again, this one is just titled Sports, and then it talks about how sports were impacted by 9/11, and then later on how sports kind of like how sports have become really a medium for people to essentially stand up for various social causes, and how some of the patriotic gestures after 9/11 were not put there by the teams or the leagues. It was actually funded by the Department of Defense. So that one is interesting. How sports helped America heal after 9/11, not really anything there, because it's a longer article, Article 2. I don't like how I worded Article 4 there. I don't know why that's a question there. But for me, and just real quick about this third article, this one is just like a world politics explainer. This one for me, it's got to be Article 1, because it's a smaller one, and it might be something that's part of something that's bigger, because Article 1 is so small. So I would choose Article 1 there. I don't see Article 4 being in there. There's only 3, so automatically it's one of these 3 here. But Article 2, it's a longer article about sports. Article 3 is about world politics and how the various effects were seen. And then moving on to question 3, which of the following statements would be considered false after reading Article 1? This one is true. Sports teams did start to weave patriotism into more game day experiences. What makes me say that? Pretty much this bottom part of the first paragraph is going to explain everything to you. God bless America during the 7th inning stretch. Field length flags, military flyovers. So it's definitely not that one. We're looking for a false statement. Sports teams made money from the United States military by having the United States military pay for the field length flags and military flyovers you see at games. That one is confirmed here in that line, so we're not going there. Showing patriotism or pride in your country has fallen after the 9/11 attacks. There's nothing in the article that seems that does that. One thing that you might see as like a little bit of a trick up here is this line here. Over the past 5 years, many athlete activists have chosen to protest for their causes during the national anthem. Whether you like it or not, that's not being unpatriotic. That's just them flexing their First Amendment rights. Are they facing judgment from the public for doing that? Sure. So that one's definitely um, not true. And then athletes use the national anthem now to protest for the causes they believe in. So that is definitely false, or true rather. And this one is the only false one. Is this a hard question for you to wrap your head around? I'm sure it is, because of our previously held beliefs about how people show their patriotism. And you'll learn from me that one of the best ways that you can show that you love your country is by standing up for ways that you think that our country or people can improve. So the correct answer there is showing patriotism. Okay, this one, all you have to do for this one is take a look at the article title, How Sports Helped America Heal After 9/11. Is it always true that like an article's title is going to give you the main idea right away? Not necessarily, but if you are wanting to do this in a quick way, um, you can just read that. And now let's look at the answers. This quote here, and we started to realize, let's get back to what we do because it will help them. That is a quote from Tiki Barber, I do believe. We will find it. Let's get back to what we do. Checking. Ah, yes, there it is. Bingo. And the entire quote is, we realize not that they need us, but they needed an escape from this horrible tragedy. And we started to realize, let's get back to what we do because it will help them. Tiki Barber was a running back for the New York Giants. So that one here, that one supports the main idea. This answer here, I've stood for the national anthem for years, going back to when I was a kid. That was another quote from Tiki Barber. That was him in the article, essentially saying like he would stand up for the national anthem as a kid, and then he would finish out the quote by saying, but he didn't really hear it until like after the 9/11 attacks, because it was a significant moment. I sat there in horror watching this unfold and being only 50 or 60 blocks away, thinking this is an attack on our city. Doesn't help support the main idea of the article, other than it just shows that, hey, people had an emotional reaction to this. And this line here, Kansas City is a rough place to play. It's a sea of red, and they are not friendly to anyone that comes in there. That is a line that just shows you that, hey, playing in Kansas City is a tough place to be. So there's that. That's why I got that answer there. For question 5, what we want to do is find anything from Article 3 that talks about the US-led invasion in Iraq. So let's go to Article 3. Let's find where it starts talking about Iraq. And again, there we go. Even more consequential has been the second major armed conflict triggered by 9/11. We didn't just have a war in Afghanistan. We had a war in Iraq. Although Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein was not linked to 9/11, officials in the administration of George W. Bush were convinced his brutal regime was a major threat to world order. This is largely due to Saddam Hussein's past aggression, his willingness to defy the United States, and his aspirations to build or expand nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons programs. It seemed likely that he would help groups planning terrorist attacks on the West. The invading forces quickly ousted Saddam, but the poorly executed, error-ridden occupation destabilized the entire region. In Iraq, it triggered a massive, long-running insurgency. In the Middle East, more broadly, it boosted Iran's regional influence, fostered the rise of the Islamic State, and created lasting disorder that has led to civil wars, countless terrorist attacks, and radicalization. In many parts of the world, the war fueled anti Americanism. In Europe, public opinion about the war set in motion a widening estrangement between the United States and its key European allies. So, when it comes to finding the answer here, complete the statement summarizing the effects of the US led invasion of Iraq. Did it have unintended negative consequences around the world? So far, I like that answer because here's one that talks about that our invasion led to the boosting of Iran in that region as a power. And as you'll learn throughout the year, I guarantee you there's going to be some news events, current events that talk about Iran in a not so positive light compared to the United States. In many parts of the world, the war fueled anti-Americanism, and it led to a divide between the various relationships our country has with other countries in Europe. So I like that one. Did the American people rise up in the largest protest in the nation's history? No, not really. Not because of the invasion of Iraq. It caused economic conflict in several other continents. In terms of economic conflict, no. Political conflict, maybe yes. Did Saddam Hussein return to power a few years later? No, he didn't. The United States took care of that problem. Just leave it at that. So that's the answer there. Okay, for this short answer here, what I was looking for here is 3 details explaining the effects most visible in the world today. And I'm just going to go ahead and type this out. One thing that I wanted to see here, whoopsies, was just a little bit of an indent there. And I know sometimes the tab button on Canvas doesn't really work. So what I would do personally, if anytime that you're writing for me on Canvas, go ahead and tap that space bar 5 times before you submit your answer. This is how I'm grading you. Spelling, grammar, and mechanics, addressing the prompt, answering the darn question, and quality of answers, 1 point for that. So what I would do now that you've indented, just go ahead and create a topic sentence for yourself. These are 3, let's just go ahead and type the word out. These are 3 effects from the 9/11 attacks that are most visible in the world today. And let's just get one from each article. From Article 1, what is a lasting impact? Well, we see these like patriotic gestures at games, so I can just use that. One effect from Article 1 is the showing of patriotic gestures at sporting events. And then you can just slap a quote in from the article. From the article states, get yourself a quote. Field blank flags and more military flyovers. Field blank flags and military flyovers can be seen at games. So there's one detail. Second article. And if you know a little bit about the article, which you do because you answered a question earlier, you can just use this quote. Article 2 described how sports can help the nation heal after the 9/11 attacks. Article 2 quotes Tiki barber New York Giants. Well, let's just say this. Throw that quote in there. Realized. Let's get back to what we do. Get back to what we do, because it will help them. There. Period. And then Article 3. And there's a lot from Article 3, so you can just find one, anything. Now, we invaded Afghanistan. The war cost $2 trillion. Mentions the Afghanistan war, which the United States was involved in for 20 years. And this war cost $3 trillion. And that would be it. I've used text evidence from the 2 articles, and then that last answer there cited a number of dollars spent on the war. And then hit submit, and away you go. Now let's see how well I did. Let's make sure I got the right answers here. So the biggest critiques that I had on your short answer there, for me, well, a lot of, well, some of you, not every one of you, just mentioned things that you have heard about 9/11 in the past. Didn't really want that. Was what you said true? Sure. But what I want you to do when you answer questions for me is to use evidence from whatever text that I give you here, and not always how you feel. And there's going to be questions that are designed to drag out how you feel. And what you'll see there is a question that is titled, do you think? Do you think this? Do you think that? But a question like the short answer there, that one is a question where I want you to use text evidence from those particular articles. And it's not letting me scroll down. All right, so that one was right. Wow, it's really not wanting you to see the answers. Question 1 was right. Question 2, Article 1. Wow, this is fun. Question 3, which of the following state? This is awesome. Let's see if I can just like stop this here. Stop refreshing. Got a point there. Question 4, got a point there. Question 5, got a point there. And then question 6, it'll say it's not graded yet. And there you go. All right, so let's wrap this up. A few things. Number 1, let's check Canvas and Skyward for older missing assignments. Let's check Canvas to see if you're happy with your grade on this quiz. If you're not, just take it again. I think I've got it maxed at like 2. So if after 2, you don't like your score, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Monday, Wednesday, or Friday morning at 8. But this coming week, we've got a busy week. On Monday, we're testing for NWEA. On Tuesday, we are testing for NWEA. On Wednesday, it's an e-learning day. You're probably going to be looking at a current event day for that, and hopefully practicing some euchre. And Thursday and Friday, we'll see what we're doing there. We've got a busy week coming up. So for now, I just want you to check Skyward for older grades, see what you need to do. Midterms came out yesterday. For now, I would like for you to watch some sports today, play some euchre. I know already this morning I was watching some English Premier League stuff, and in England, there were pre-game ceremonies for honoring the September 11th, or the memory of September 11th, 20 years later. England is not in the United States. So right away, you see the impact of that. And I guarantee you, you'll see things all over college football today, Saturday. I guarantee you, you're going to see a lot of stuff tomorrow for the NFL about honoring 9/11. So just keep an eye on that. So with that being said, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And again, if you want to take this quiz again, watch this video to help you out. Have a good one. See ya.